I'm Ben Frederickson alongside Jeff Gordon here talking Cardinals baseball. Gordo, we had the Cardinals end of season presser this week, and we heard the Cardinals kind of push back against this growing narrative, in their words, that they've not been set up to be a deep postseason team in these past few years, as they've struggled to get out of a wild card round or to move beyond what they were able to do in 2019, getting to the NLCS, but then getting swept by the Nationals. Meanwhile, you've got a team like the Houston Astros, where, Gordo, all they've done since 2017 is get to the ALCS or the World Series, and they've never been swept in any of them. So I want to talk about postseason randomness. There's some truth here. There's some false narratives here, and we're going to try to find the truth in the middle. Are the Cardinals right in saying that really the only way to analyze a team is to look at it single season, what it does in that postseason, and not to connect previous postseason flops with this one?
Well, the challenge in connecting the different disappointments is, you've got different players. Each team is different. Sometimes you have different managers. So is there a common thread with the Cardinals? And the common thread is, we want to be good every year. And as a result of having a common thread of, we want to be good every year, you don't go crazy in any given year, throw out all your prospects, load up all the players, and do the San Diego Padres thing. Go all in, throw all the money, all the prospect, whatever, to go get players. Cardinals are never going to do that. If there's a common thread with the Cardinals, it's that. So that's the bad news. Well, the good news is they try to be good every year. But the better news, Ben Fred, and we'll see if anything good happens this offseason, they are positioned to actually build a team that's just not just a good enough team, but a special team. Young players rising, assets in hand, money to spend. You still got your star players in place, fingers crossed on Arenado. There's an opportunity, Benfred, for them to change the narrative. Benfred, will they do it?
Well, I think that they can and should, because look at the money. They've benefited from Albert Pujols Palooza. I'll give John Mozeliak credit, Gordo. He starts the press conference pretty much by saying the payroll is going to go up. You don't announce that if you're only going to bump it up, $1 million. They're going to make a stride there. They're going to become more competitive with some of the big spending teams that we're seeing going deep in the postseason. Does it guarantee you go deep? No. Does it give you a better chance? Yes. Spend that money that Albert Pujols made on his $2.5 million deal. What a benefit that was for the Cardinals in so many ways. Spend that on going and looking more like a team that can go deep in the postseason. One that, if it gets knocked out early, you go, wow, that was a really good team that got knocked out. Go try to become more of a 100-win type of team that can have a better chance of going up against the Braves, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets, and what they're going to be able to do with all the money they're going to spend. And spend it wisely. But I'm sorry, Gordo, I'm just not buying that the only thing motivating the Cardinals right now is the fact that they made a lot of money this year. I do think that it's starting to bother them that this will be, if they don't make the NLC, if they don't win one game in the NLCS this year, this upcoming 2023 season, they will have gone 10 seasons with one win in the NLCS. The last time, of course, they got swept out. 10 seasons with one NLCS game one. I'm not talking about a series. I'm talking about one game in the NLCS. That's not what the Cardinals want to be about. And they're not going to come out and say, hey, you're right, we're flopping in the postseason. They're not going to give that away because they're fiercely proud, and that they can compare their record to a lot of teams, and a lot of teams would like to have it. But they're the Cardinals, and the bar should be higher. I do think they're going to show that desire, that intention this offseason. It's just a matter of how you spend it, where you go with it, and also making sure you spend it on the right guys. In trades, obviously taking on more payroll in trades, but also in free agency. Gordo, the Cardinals have been in the right quarter of teams in terms of payroll. They've fallen behind here. Now they need to get back up. But you can also make a case some of the money they have spent hasn't been spent wisely. I think that's the other part here is, it's great they're going to spend more. They got to spend it on the right guys.
Well, they did make a big step from that stretch when they missed the playoffs multiple years and fans were whining that there are no stars. They took on the Paul Goldschmidt money and they got him re-signed. They took on the Nolan Arenado money, hopefully trying to keep him. So they did have an investment in stars, which is something that, was a positive trend from where they were headed before this upturn. Now, this team has also had a habit of doing a lot of mid-range buying and, risk aversion. And that's a trend. Another, what connects all these teams? Risk aversion, and one of Derek Gould's favorite topics. So they're going to have to take a little more risk, Ben Fred, if they want to get us to a special place.
You got to get off that middle shelf, Gordo. They got players coming up through the pipeline that can beat those guys out in a season or two. They got to go spend on guys that they can't replicate from within. And they did that in acquiring Goldschmidt and Arenado. And those are the kind of moves that really is going to set this team apart. They need another one of those type of guys in this lineup if they're going to feel like they've got the best chance possible to get back to the sweet, sweet part of the postseason. We'll see which direction it goes. We'll have it all covered. GM meetings, winter meetings, it's all coming up. Spring training, Gordo's going to be here before we know it. Keep it locked at stltoday.com for all of your Cardinals coverage. For Jeff Gordon, I'm Ben Frederickson. We'll talk to you next time.